Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how long it took me to get sales or a sale, really a sale, at least one sale, every single day on Redbubble. It's been a pretty long time from the period where I can remember that I haven't had a sale or multiple sales every single day. On average, we can get anywhere from 40 sales a day to 17 sales a day. And if it's a really, really good day, it could be 60 sales a day. For those who don't know, and maybe I've said this to you guys before, maybe not. I have a friend that has this app that he made where you log into all your different Redbubble accounts and you can check how many sales it created total. So if you guys are familiar with the, what is it called? The merch tool, I forget what it's called. It's not called Merch Informer, but I forget what it's called. It's a merch tool for the people who have the Amazon accounts where there's this little Chrome extension that tells you how many sales you got that day. And every time you get a sale, there's a little cash register sound and it shows you a little number on the screen. It's similar to that, but it's like a mobile phone app. It's not a public app. It's the opposite of a native app, which is, I guess, just like a regular downloadable app that he made for me. And the sales range, but it's been a while since I got a sale. It's been a while since I haven't got a sale. Because we've have so many designs now, and I'll make a separate video on, what I learned after creating more than 30,000 designs. But you guys got to remember, before I started uploading relatively consistently, where I'm doing every single day, 60 designs a day, at least for Redbubble, I had over 6,000 designs already added to Redbubble. I decided that I was going to go all out 2 months prior to 2022 and just post 60 designs a day and see what happens. And obviously, there were things that I was worried about. I don't think if you have 5,000 to 6,000 designs, at least in my period of time, that I have the same experience that I have now. It's just at a completely different level. Back when I had 5,000, 6,000 designs, I maybe really wasn't 100% sure about, what causes you to get banned or what may result in a sale or things like that. But now, after I've done it for a very, very long time now, and the reason why I say very long time, I don't mean a period of years. I just mean super, super high intensity within a short period of time, which is, I would say, by the end of this year, we're looking at a total of 14 months of just working on Redbubble every day, 60 designs a day, getting it done in about, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even an hour sometimes, just depending on how it goes, and getting all that work done and then seeing the results. So I'm not going to count that first 5,000, 6,000 designs in the beginning, okay? I'm not going to count that. I'm going to talk about from the days that I started uploading consistently every single day. Now, something that I do want to say is very, very quickly early on, it would be very, very rare where I wouldn't get a sale in the beginning. So for those who don't know, when I started off with those 6,000, 5,000, 7,000 designs, those designs would result in sales. So it's not like I didn't have sales before then. But there will be certain days where I'll have 4 or 5 sales, and then there will be no sales the next day after, and then the next day after that I would have 4 sales again, or 3 sales, or 7 sales, or 2 sales. So just as an FYI. Now, since then, I was able to really, I guess you could say, get better with my methods, get better at my tagging, get better at my designing, understand what customers want, understand what would look cool on certain designs, understand really how to get more customers. And just the whole different aspects. Even the Instagram marketing, it's a skill that you can toggle and you can get better at. And the more I was doing it, the more hours I was, spending, and the more work I was doing, the more I was getting involved and the more I was understanding things. Even things that maybe Redbubble doesn't just blatantly speak out or talk about, I started to understand things. I started to understand that, for example, Redbubble might just ban your account for absolutely no reason. Hence why the whole idea of creating different stores mattered to me. I understood that there were differences between a century type ban, like a permanent ban, and just a suspension. If your store is just suspended, that one store is deleted. It doesn't mean they're deleting you or banning you as an individual. There's certain things I started to learn, and I started to understand the more and more time I put into it. With that being said, it took me about 60 days to start seeing 0 days without sales, put it that way. Now, within those 60 days period, there was never a period where I only got one sale a day. And what I mean by that is that there was never a day where it's like, okay, we just got one sale on Redbubble today. That's really not what ever happened. Like I said, after the first chunk of designs that I started creating before I started uploading consistently, those specific designs were generating sales. It was just on and off. Like, I could wake up one day with 17 sales, and then the next day literally have nothing for a couple of days, and then have 5 sales the next day, and then 2 sales the next day after that, and then no sales, and then 4 sales, and it was just all over the place. It was very volatile. That's the best way I could say it. Very volatile. But ever since I started doing the consistent work, like I said, within 2 months, 60 days roughly, and these are not exact numbers, but within 2 months, I can't remember a time where there was a day where I didn't have a sale. In fact, I don't think we've had had a day where we didn't have a sale in. I mean, I'm gonna say close to February. I mean, that's really what I'm thinking, because at least if my memory serves me straight, I was producing a lot of work. When I say we, I always say me and you guys. We were doing a lot, and I was very, very highly motivated. If you go back to those videos, I was very inspired by the whole Redbubble thing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's gotten a little old now because I'm doing it literally every single day, 60 times a day. And it gets, it's a little bit excruciating in terms of the monotony of it. But at the same time, it's not like I'm doing it for free, right? I'm making money, posting on Redbubble, selling different stickers, aprons, t-shirts, etc. So, with that being said, I have these elements to success. And I think if you had these core pillars to success when it comes down to Redbubble, this is what I stick to, and I simplify the process. I think I've released a video on this, maybe I haven't, but creating systems for me is one of the most effective things that I do, and that's for me in all businesses. I don't do this just in 1 or 2 businesses. These are the things that I do best, creating systems, and this is actually why I believe there's 3 different types of business people. There's people who could take something from 0 to a large number. Then you have some people who are just scalers who take that large number and make it even like 10 times larger. Like Gary Vee, for example, is a good example of somebody who's a scaler. He took his dad's company that made like 2-3 mil and then brought it to over 60 mil a year. You got just different levels of entrepreneurs and different levels of business people. I'm at that base level where I think because I have really, really good systems, I can get a business going from 0 to 5 to 10 to 20 grand a month doing, effectively pretty well. Now, not saying that necessarily with Redbubble because I've never made 20 grand a month or even 10 grand a month on Redbubble. I think my highest was like over 8K. But at the same, at the same concept, same idea, what I do really well is I create systems. And for Redbubble specifically, the systems are pretty simple, and I call these like the pillars or the tenets or whatever you want to really call them. The first one is going to be your upload quantity. And the reason why I say this is the first one over others like skill and things like that is because the more you do something, the better you get at it. Now, a lot of people will just immediately write off the idea of doing more work or producing more or creating more. The only thing with that is, guys, is if you're going to write that off and you're going to negate that, you're never going to get to the point where it's just good enough. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And what I'm trying to say is, let's just say, for example, you're learning how to drive. Some people might have to do it, have to get in that car to do 10 hours of driving before they actually learn how to drive. Some people only need 2 hours. Some people need 5 hours. Some people need 30 hours. Everybody's a little bit different. So uploading quantity for me was that, quote-unquote driver's school, that driver's education. I was learning the tricks of the trade. I was learning the game. And the more I uploaded, the better I got. And just to keep that in mind, guys, with perspective, that's with everything. So when people argue with me on this, the quantity, uploading quantity, I get confused because people think it's just about the design, the way the design looks, and it's not, right? Example of that is your tags, your titles. Your work is not going to be seen if it's not tagged properly, if it's not titled properly, all these different things. So that's a huge part of it, okay? So for me, the quantity is the precursor to everything else. If there's somebody who uploads 2 designs a week, I'll say, okay, you probably don't work that much. You don't train that much in reference to Redbubble, which means you're probably not going to make that much money. That's just my personal opinion. Now, we can take the stats on that, and we can look at the stats, and the stats say that majority of people who are actually making money on Redbubble have a large amount of designs. 80% of the sellers on Redbubble have never made a sale. And out of that 80%, majority have less than 300 designs. So if you have less than 300 designs today, consider yourself lucky if you even have a sale, a single sale, even if it took a year to get that sale. So that's just something to be aware of. But anyways, so uploading quantity is a huge tenet for me. The next thing is uploading speed and efficiency. A lot of people, and I've heard this comment maybe 10, 20 times, 30 times in the past month, where people get curious as to how I upload 60 designs a day in a matter of an hour and a half. They get confused. How does that work? Well, I've shown that in the course, the design course. I'm not going to speak about it here publicly, and I think anything of value shouldn't necessarily be given to everybody, but the design course, for those who signed up, know exactly what I'm talking about. We created that premium course just to show people how to create the system, the approach, as to create these designs relatively quickly, okay? So when it comes down to that, the uploading speed and efficiency, me personally, I don't want to sit here and work 2 hours on one design. For me, that doesn't make sense. Nor also am I an artist. I'm not an artist. I'm not going to sit there for hours and hours and hours sitting there drawing my designs. To me, if I want to make money, that just doesn't sound logical. Now, for some other people, that might sound perfectly logical, but I would say look at your sales. Are your sales backing up your data? If you sound logical that you're drawing your work and you're doing all your work, does your sales represent it? Now, some people will be able to argue with me and stand on that specific leg and say, you know what? You're wrong, because I personally draw all my work, and here's my $10,000 in sales. Here's my $8,000. Here's my $5,000. Here's my $15,000. Here's my $30,000. Whatever. For most people, won't be able to stand on that. Now, I'll say this: Redbubble's also a game of numbers. You look at the numbers. There's a very, very small percentage of people who actually have that success, where they're doing all the drawing, they're creating these very, very creative designs, elaborate designs, and they're few in quantity, and they're making money. Because by default, if you're drawing everything by hand, right, whether you're using Procreate or whatever you're using, by default, you're not going to be able to produce that much work. At least that's what I think so. I mean, unless you're reutilizing your content or your images. Like, for example, if I take a picture of this rabbit that I drew and I post it, and that by itself is just not a high chance of selling, but let's just say I did, right? I can reuse that image, but that's a whole different conversation on its own. If you're drawing most of the time, if you're doing the manual work behind it, it's a very low chance that you're actually going to create a high scale of quantity. And if you're not creating a high scale of quantity, you're not improving your skills, your tags, your titles, etc. So that's a whole part of it. So for me, uploading speed and efficiency is a huge part of the game for me, to where I had to hone in my skills. In the beginning, it didn't take me an hour and a half. It took me multiple hours to figure out how can I create a system to where I can upload quickly. But very fast, I learned a system that I created myself, which is why I teach it in the design course, like I said. $39.99 if you want to check it out. If you don't want to check it out, don't check it out. But I'm just saying, that was the system that I had created for myself. And everybody has to come up with their own systems, okay? The next thing is willpower. I'm going to be honest with you guys, but the tenacity, the determination, the willpower, after a certain point in time, it gets tiring. And I'm not just talking about 60 designs a day for one day, because anybody could really do that. It's just a matter of doing it every single day for 365 days. It's a long period of time. And by the end of this year, we will have done it for over 400 days. It's a very long period of time, close to the 420 range. So what I'm trying to say is, you're going to have some willpower, some tenacity, some determination. If you don't, I don't know how to give that to you. That's the one thing, guys, here, is that if you don't have the will to keep moving forward, There's nothing I could say. There's nothing I could do. There's nothing that I could preach that could flip the switch. There's absolutely nothing. So the willpower, the determination, the tenacity, I think has its own pillar in terms of success. I believe one of the things that made me successful in business, not Redbubble, but business, but way before I started Redbubble, was the fact that I was not willing to give up. There was literally no other way for me, and that's what I had in my mind. Okay? The next thing is your third-party marketing. Now, in the very beginning, I wasn't focused on the exterior kind of stuff, the Pinterest, the YouTube, the Twitter. I was just really focused on Instagram. That was working for me. Now, I've broadened my approach, and it's been multiple months where I've been doing Pinterest, I've been doing Twitter, I've been doing a little bit of TikTok, some YouTube. Can't really speak for TikTok too much because TikTok is a little iffy, just the way that the platform is made and the algorithm. People are looking for very specific kinds of content, and the content that you put on Instagram might, at least short videos won't necessarily work for TikTok, but, at least in the print-on-demand space. I can't speak for the entertainment space, the influencer space. I'm talking for print-on-demand, but third-party marketing is huge, right? Because you are literally boosting, giving steroids to your design. Your design could be on page 3. It could be getting no attention. All of a sudden, when you start promoting it on Instagram, you get a few sales. Your design could be on page 1. Next thing you know, you could be generating 5 to 10 sales a day off that one design. But once again, since majority of people, I would say, haven't invested into certain social medias, at least this is what I've seen with the print-on-demand space, maybe they haven't explored that avenue. Now, when I say invested, I'm just talking about making the effort to try it. I'm not necessarily talking about investing hundreds and thousands of dollars. Nobody's talking about that. I'm talking about the effort. A lot of people, if you just put the effort in, you're more than 80% of the way there. The next thing is the designing skill, okay? At the end of the day, Redbubble is a platform for a community of customers at the end of the day. And customers are human beings, and human beings value something or cherish something or desire something, that's a better word, desire, based on what they see. We are visual creatures, right? That's what we are. We're visual creatures. We are attracted to things that we believe look good. So the designing skill has to come into play. If your design quality is bad, if your designs don't look good, what is the chance of you really making a sale? I mean, and I could put it this way. Imagine I get 1,000 visits a month on just a single design. Imagine this. That design, realistically, should make me anywhere from 1 sale to, let's say, 50 sales a month. Okay, realistically speaking. But I might not get a single sale because the design quality is trash. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. A lot of people are confused as to why their design quality is so, or why they're not getting sales. And I simply say, look at your designs. Are your designs getting traffic? So go to your analytics and look. How many visitors have you had? Do you have over 100? Do you have over 1,000? How many sales have you had? Compare the conversion rate. If your conversion rate's low, your designs suck. That's, with all due respect, that's what it is. And you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to take into consideration, here's where I have to pivot. I have to get better at XYZ thing. Now, if you look at your analytics and you don't see traffic, well, then you don't know anything about how the efficacy of your designs. All you know is how good your tags are. And then in that case, your tags are pretty bad if you're not getting traffic. Doesn't matter how many designs you have, right? But if you have 1,000 designs and you're not getting traffic, that should be a signal saying, hey, my tags, my title, everything SEO related is not doing well. I need to fix this. That's what you should be thinking. And then lastly and finally, the last thing is doubling down on simply what works. That's really it. If I have, let's say, if I created 1,000 designs and I didn't get a single sale on all of them, and then all of a sudden one day I get a sale on one of them, I'm going to go and create more variations of that specific design because that one design is something that I know that I can win at. And I'm going to create all kinds of variations. And for all those people that think that changing the colors is a variation, even though that is technically a variation, it's not the only variation style that I recommend. Go change your fonts, change your images, change your style, whatever you can do to bring more essentially desirability to the marketplace. and more importantly, increase probability to that specific niche of your success. Meaning, if there's 20 designs and yours is one of those 20 and you got a sale on that, go out and create 100. Go out and create 200. You'll own 90% of the marketplace in that case. So what the point is with all this, guys, is these are the pillars that I'm reminding myself every day of. And at this point, I've memorized. But these are things that I don't even have to list out to know what to do. I look at them. I do them every day. These are things that go on in my head 24/7. I'm always looking to improve how I do my SEO. I'm always looking to improve my tags. I'm always looking for tips and tricks. I'm always looking for motivation, things that will push me, whether it be watching a video, listening to a file of an MP3 or a motivational speech, or getting my energy up to create more designs, or looking for tools and softwares to be able to help me create more designs. I'll just give you an example. The one from Bots and Apps. I'll just show you guys this. Some of you guys may know about this. botsandapps.gumroad.com. There's a tool for $9.99 that gives you free images. Well, they're not free. They're copyright free, meaning no owner is going to say, hey, you stole my design. These are images that you can use, and I've shown how high quality and high definition these are, and this is the software. This is how it looks. There's different photos. You can get stock photos, black and white, vector, fine art, illustrations, and here's a video as to how it works, and I'll just play down the volume, but essentially, you could search for it here. I don't even know what's going on here with this video, but for some reason I can't drag it. But you perform a search, you click on the images, and they come out in high definition quality. These are examples of different things that I do, different tools, different resources, whatever. And these are the pillars that I look for. So if you guys need a video to always come back to as some sort of guidance of what you should look for, maybe a North Star, if you will, this video with these sections, these elements of success, might be for you. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.